Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide is a vital tool and a helpful media outlet for business enterprises to connect and to reach out to Filipino American consumers. For more information, go to www.lasvegasfrg.com or you can email at lasvegasfrg@gmail.com.
It's the ultimate guide to anything Filipino in Las Vegas. This is the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide radio show on PHLV Radio.
Good evening from Las Vegas. It's the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide radio show here on PHLV Radio. I'm your host, Gilbert Glorioso, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in my co-hosts tonight, Lonnie Andal and Richard Aguila.
Oh, hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, my friend.
Hello, my family.
Yes.
Familia.
My familia. Yeah, tonight we couldn't have Tito Bernie. I hope Tito Bernie's okay. He's here in Vegas, but he can't be with us tonight. But yes, I got the both of you tonight.
Yes, you do.
Absolutely.
Of course.
The Godfather's always with us anyway.
Yes,
he
That's
is.
right.
he's always there. Yeah, so tonight we have a special guest, of course. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to the both of you. However you guys-
Yes, Miss Lonnie, please.
Well, she is one of our advertisers for the year 2021, and we haven't had one of her categories, so this is exciting.
It is.
She is the owner and proprietor of CGI Design Group. And people say, well, what does that mean? Well, if you look through our resource guide, you will see one of the samples of what her work is. Everyone comes here to Vegas to sell condos in the Philippines.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's great to buy the condo, but then you're not there to decorate it, to put it in the market, to make it feasible for someone to say, I want that 5-star unit. Guess what? She's the one who just takes her wand and just turns it around, and before you know it, you're looking at something that even Trump couldn't even duplicate. Ooh, sorry.
No.
No.
No political humor here.
No.
I saw I saw the pictures, and I saw the before and after pictures. And when you buy a house, you get the bones, white walls, just your typical. The counters are plain. Nothing is there to give it substance.
Yes.
She literally doesn't just change the paint color. She makes moldings. She does graphics. She builds
Wow.
custom.
Amazing.
That when you open the door, and if you're next door, you look at yours and you figure, whatever money you spent, it wasn't enough because his now looks like $1 million penthouse.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
And our lady that did it all, she's kind of shy, but I think she takes all her energies and she just puts it into the artwork. I saw the moldings that she casted, and Richard was telling me she custom made the bed so it size the room, because sometimes
Amazing
dimensions don't fit right.
Yes.
And from
Odd numbers.
dishes to pots to plants to everything that you walk in, all you have to do is find a date and you're good to go.
Yes. Yes. Now, clothes are optional. That was for your benefit.
That was a different show.
That's the late night show. That's the
the
late,
late night show.
So let me take pleasure in introducing you to Suzette Carlos. Are you there in the Philippines?
Hi, good morning. Magandang
Welcome.
umaga from the Philippines. It's morning here. Thank you very much for having me in the show. It's an honor to be here and be able to connect with our kababayan in Las Vegas. Hopefully someday we'll be able to help transform your units here in the Philippines into something you can use and stay in or probably earn from in the
Absolutely. Because what you do is, especially when they're coming here, and over the years we've had many, many representations of people who have the condos and the buildings that they're doing. But this, what you're doing now, would make it more inducing for them to buy it. I think you need to partner with them, so this way they could say, we will give you the bones of the apartment, but this is the lady that's going to make it happen. So this way people say, I want that number 1 5-star looking hotel room for me, because it doesn't look like a hotel. It looks like a studio 1-bedroom apartment, which you makes you feel more comfortable. So you need to we need to get them so we could partner them together.
Yes.
Amen. Absolutely. Yes.
So Suzette, how long
Actually,
have
I'd
you
like
been?
to correct that. It's
Yes.
not CGI Design Group. CGI Design Group is owned by my husband.
Ah,
It's an architectural visualization firm. Mine is kind of like an offspring. It came forth from CGI, Space Smart Interiors. So,
okay.
my husband is into walkthroughs and animations for real estate developers.
Wonderful. This is now. How long have you been designing? Did you two meet because of your professions?
Actually, my design journey started way back in 2011, precisely because of CGI Design Group. It was around 2009 or 2010 when real estate developments were happening left and right in the Philippines that architects and interior designers were having difficult time submitting resource materials. So then developers started asking us help for design. So I studied interior design at the School of Fashion and the Arts precisely for that reason, to help our company expedite the submission of 3D interior stills. But then one day, a friend asked me to help them renovate a unit which they wanted to transform into a rental accommodation. So I obliged. I did the design and actually managed the whole project. After that, she was so happy with the output that I got another project after that. And then when her friends saw what I did, I got another one, and then it resulted to me forming the Space Smart Interiors. So that's how it came to be.
Well, you make the project look like $1 million place to live. And anyone who's coming into the Philippines, you turn the key, you come into usually a vacant looking room. When you
Yes.
open the door to this particular unit, it's like, that's what you want to do. You want to go, and it makes you feel like you're at home, whether you're there for the weekend, 2 weeks. It's extraordinary what you did. So tell me the process. Take me from when you walk in, you go through your dimensions, and then what's your input with the client?
Actually, one of the things, I'm going to tell you a story. Way back in 2013, we had our house done. The house is nice on the outside, but I wasn't so happy with the way the architect went about the design and the construction of our house, mainly because he wasn't listening to what I wanted. He was insisting on what he wanted. He actually wanted to paint our house beige, and I wanted to paint our house taupe. He told me that it's just okay because there's no difference between beige and taupe. But the thing is, there is a huge difference between beige and taupe.
Yes.
So the point of the story is, construction and renovation of a house, it actually does not only require financial but emotional investment from clients. So it's really, really important that you listen to what the client wants and what the client needs. We make sure in Space Smart Interiors, we make sure that the design is client-centered. So the first thing really is we listen. That's what we do. I get to know the client. I get to know his requirement, how he goes about the space, what is it for, what the space is for. So that's where everything starts. I listen to the client. We listen to the client. So whatever we do in the space, that's basically because of the input of the client. Designers, some designers, they would tend to impose their designs on the client. So if you see something beautiful, like for example, if you see Richard Aguilar's unit in Tagaytay, it's because of him and her and his wife. They told me what they wanted. They wanted something which is something to do with the plantation, with the vineyard in Twin Lakes. So that's what I did. And he told me that she's into contemporary design and she's into blue. So that's what I did. So it's actually not me. It's the client that you see in the space.
But with
So that's how it started.
with your talent, you're able to manifest their desires. So that
Into
makes a
their
difference. You're listening to them, you're getting their input, and then you're making their thoughts, their dreams a reality. That's an excellent talent. Excellent talent.
That's how we do it, basically.
So how long does it take you from start to finish? Because I know you also furnish it. There's towels, there's the kitchen set up. No one has to go out and start looking for pots and pans and the coffee pot, towels, and etc. So from start to finish, how do you get this? You have a timeline that you work with?
Actually, for a regular unit like 28 square meter, it would last us the whole project would take us 30 working days. But then it depends, of course. If it's a bigger unit, it would take from 30 days to 60 working days. I work with contractors, with builders, who basically does everything. That I basically choose the materials, and then implementation takes about 30 working days. And of course, start from getting the permits and everything.
Because Richard was pointing out all the moldings and the castings were custom made. It's not something that you go to Home Depot for. Everything looked very
Yes.
uniquely designed for their needs and their tastes.
Yes, actually, the design, what happens is before getting to know the client, there would be a designs a time of us for us to discuss what they want, and during that time, I would ask people to customize some items that they want. So it's really a system. It's really a process where we go through. So we start with what they want, and then for if they need customization, I have people that I can talk to help me with that.
Because I know in conversation, one of Richard's associates who also has a unit in that building.
Yes.
And he was like so disappointed because it was like, why isn't my unit looking like this? He could see the difference, that's what people here in Vegas who own properties as investments, as a place to have a little vacation to, when they see yours, they're going to be like, I want it like that. How else are you going to make, if you're investing in something like this, how else are you going to make it appealing to the general public? Because, again, a lot of Americans are going on vacation to foreign countries. And if I'm here or LA and I want to go to the Philippines, I see something that I can relate to rather than 4 white walls. It makes a difference. It makes it more inviting. So I think the people here, our listeners especially, that have investment properties in the Philippines, need to contact with you so you can put your magic touch on that to make it appealing if they're going to be in the business of very much like that other company, which I won't say their name, that you could rent as a timeshare or as a place to get away. I would say 4 white walls, or something that is decorated and warm feeling and custom made. There's no comparison. There's no comparison.
I think that's what I'm promoting right now. The turning, if you're undecided on what to do with the units that you have in the Philippines, I think the best way is for you to turn it into a short-term rental. I wrote a blog about it, the 3 benefits of why would you want to turn your units into a short-term rental. Well, for one thing, you can charge more than long-term rentals in the Philippines, but lower than a hotel rate. So you get more people to stay in your place. Plus, number 2, of course, you can use it. When you come home, you can schedule. So when it's not occupied, then you can use it instead of staying in a hotel, which is more expensive. And of course, your investment in the renovation and sprucing up of your unit can go a long way, and as compared to having it for long-term rental.
Yeah, definitely. Lonnie, one of the reasons why my wife and I decided to buy in the Twin Lakes development in Tagaytay, there's so many different projects of all levels. I mean, it can go. We're talking in terms of dollars into the millions of dollars, not pesos, of dollars, because it's such a beautiful and unique place. The volcano, the
and
ash.
aren't you near a vineyard?
Yes,
Did you show me the pictures of the vineyard?
Yeah, Twin Lakes is the very, very first vineyard in the Philippines, and Filipinos obviously are very, very fond of whiskey and brandy. And no, you don't say, right? And we drink a little. We drink a little
What?
bit, just a little bit.
Tanduay.
Yeah. But I believe it's when we were looking at that, it was nothing back then. Now it's fully developed. It's so gorgeous. You really feel like you are somewhere in the Cognac region of France or Napa Valley. I mean, and you're in the Philippines, for goodness sake. And when we saw this, we were able to secure a very good deal on a unit. Exactly what Suzette was saying. It's like, you want a place instead of a hotel, you want something of your own. And I wasn't alone. A number of the clients that I have here in Las Vegas did the exact same thing. But, and they have these payment schemes, what they call payment schemes, where you can just put down very little amount and it makes it affordable. And then suddenly, year and a half, 2 years later, it's like, oh my God, now I suddenly owe this money. But, and then it's done. Before you know it, it's done. It's the company's ready to turn it over. Congratulations, you have a unit, and you're excited. But there's a dilemma that comes with that, and our dilemma was, okay, well, now what are we gonna do with it?
Well, was
right?
that because of the COVID or in general?
Well, no, just in general, because we bought it with the intention of course, having something in the area. It's so beautiful. It is one of the, one of the number one tourist destinations, not only on international level, but domestically, because it's close to Manila. From where Suzette is, you could be in this, bustling metropolis, 45 minutes later or 2 hours later, depending on traffic, you're in a vineyard and you feel like you're in France. I mean, it's that drastic of a change. The weather is just incredible. It's not too hot. It's not too cold.
And it's pitched up on a mountain.
And it's just, the elevation is just it's really a thing of beauty. It's really a thing of beauty. And my thing is, all these people are investing in this, including my wife and I. We were like, okay, what are we going to do now? So I made a couple of phone calls at that point. Number one, I went to Mega World, which is the developer, and I called up the representative that had shown us the unit and eventually helped us purchase. I said, okay, I know you might have some recommendations. This is what I want to do. I want this to be something to where, obviously, we don't live there. I want it to be revenue generating. But on top of that, more so than that, I want it to reflect the surroundings. I want, when people go into the unit, that it's just as pleasing as what you see on the outside. Because when you walk into this building, Lonnie, you feel it's regal. It is just a regal feeling. It's gorgeous. Like very much like when we walk into the Bellagio here, or the Resorts World. It's just so immaculate.
The structure is beautiful. Does it have amenities just like a resort?
Yes, absolutely. Pools. The number one amenity there really is just the ambiance. A little bit further away, but when you look out the terrace of my unit, it's tranquil.
Now, what do you see through your windows? Was it the volcano?
It's you can see the mist in the morning, green, just serenity, right? And so anyway, because Suzette had, is already known, very well known in Mega World and some of the other properties there, again, referrals, right? Referrals,
absolutely.
Quality of her work. The representative said, I only have one phone number for you. You're done. Oh, really? So we contacted Suzette, hit it off, just great conversation. We described, kind of what we were looking for. And just me personally, I know what it is from the experiences that, I have heard from my associate.
Sure.
They just had a really bad experience. And many of us do this, especially in the Filipino culture. Auntie will take care of that. Or tita will take care of that. Or, my niece, she's good at design. She can do that. Well, okay, so you kind of understand where I'm going with that. Well, my associate who had bought a unit before me, let's just say I wound up spending not even half of what they spent. And he was thoroughly upset.
Yeah.
Because none of it was done correctly. None of it was on time. Because simply someone that is not doing the business, I'm a big believer of this. You go to a professional.
Absolutely.
You go to someone
Absolutely.
with credentials.
Yes.
With okay, well, can I see some of your units? And yes.
She had a book.
I mean, it was more than a book. You know. I mean, she had Procter and Gamble as one of her references. I was like, okay, well, I think we're good. I think we're good, right? So we sat down with her, and I said, you know, Suzette, this is what I'm thinking. I want it to be a reflection of what you see on the outside.
Right.
I want somebody to walk in, and the condo unit. In front of it, it has a 120-room boutique hotel that looks like you're in Paris.
Oh my goodness.
And then you go down the hill, and then it's the cluster of condominiums, 3 buildings. I think Shiraz and Merlot, and then the other one is Chardonnay. They have wine names, and they all
Cabernet.
Yes, Cabernet, and they all look out into this beautiful sea of green.
Wow.
You know, and then down onto the to mouth of the volcano, and the lake, right? And I said, you can't go inside here and expect people to pay good money like they would in the hotel, and it looked like IKEA blew up in there. And there's an IKEA now in the Philippines, right, Suzette? Is it open now?
Is.
There's an IKEA there.
And so and I'm looking at when Suzette and I were talking, I'm looking at Airbnb, and all the units there, and then the subsequent units down the street. I'm talking about probably 85% of those units. You and I could have bought the furniture at IKEA
Easily.
and I said no.
They just put in the basics.
And they were trying to charge high dollar, dollar.
Dang.
Okay, and I said, you know what? I can't I can't do that to somebody.
In good
I
conscience.
can't, in all good conscience. I want to give them a product, just like I wanted a nice product. So I said, so Suzette said, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's why my suggestion. We're going to package it. And I love this, what she did. She packaged it so that we didn't have to think of a single solitary thing. I mean, right down to the knobs, the towels, and like Lonnie was saying, Suzette, I can't elaborate on it like you can, but do you remember I told you about the door of the bathroom?
Oh yes.
Please
yes,
tell them what you did. It's so genius. So tell them what you
The door was
did.
originally a swing door.
Yes, and it was literally like if you had slammed it a little bit more, it would have
banged
shattered the glass of the shower.
Is that when she did the farm door?
And yes,
That's brilliant.
That was the original door.
yeah. I mean,
I like
I
that.
was like, did you buy that? She goes, no. I just repurposed it. We painted it. She
made
put
it
was
into a
amazing.
barn door.
Yeah,
So it slides.
it slides. And
Which is very contemporary now.
Yeah.
Everyone is doing that.
yeah.
slide.
So you know what? I don't know. Do we have?
Pictures?
I don't know if he's
Yeah.
got the pictures of it.
Yeah. Let's.
You know, a few years ago, like 2004, one of our realtors, local realtors, Salve Vargas
Yeah.
Edelman,
Yeah.
she was then promoting
Mm-hmm.
Taal and Twin Lakes.
Yes.
And I was hosting her
there,
event.
There you go. There
And
you
I
go.
said, from now on, I think we need to hold on to our property in the Philippines because all this construction is going to start.
absolutely.
But Salve was the one.
Can you let me just show you guys the before? Thank you, sir. Okay, so that's my unit, guys. I mean, I
No,
mean,
this is
Oh,
another client.
that's Eastwood. I'm sorry, that's Eastwood. But you can tell. I mean, this is basically how it was delivered, like the white walls.
white walls.
Yeah. That's my unit, guys. Yeah. And so we're getting a little of feedback.
This is
Oh my
This
goodness,
is for a
yes.
kababayan also.
Uh-huh.
This is my client is also there in the States. He is from San Francisco East Bay. He's actually he owns a dance band. His June Aguilar's vintage dance band. He owns a condominium unit in Eastwood, and they wanted a place to stay when they are in Manila. So I transformed it to their to a place where they can entertain guests. If you can see it, that's they actually wanted to maintain a spacious unit but able to entertain. So what I did was to give them a six-seater dining setup which disappears when not in use.
Hold on just one second. I think we're having some technical. I think something is on.
I'm not on screen. I don't have anything on my screen.
Phones?
No, I shut it off.
Okay.
It's like a relay echo.
Hello? Yeah.
Just a,
Your volume on your Facebook.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
It's like looping
okay.
around.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, no, it's good. Anyway, you were saying, Suzette. You were saying.
The one that you showed is actually for a client. He's also a kababayan. He's Mr. June Aguilar. He's from San Francisco East Bay. He owns a unit at Parkview Condominium in Eastwood, and he wanted to transform it to a place where they can go when they come home here and they
There
can
you go.
stay instead of staying in a hotel.
Yes.
So if you look at the images, the before shots, it's just white walls, and the kitchen is so cramped. Has a very tiny kitchen. He wanted to maintain a spacious unit, but at the same time be able to entertain guests. He wanted to be able to sit six people for dinner at one time.
Wow.
So what we did was we actually opened up the kitchen. So if you notice in the shots after, you can see the kitchen already. We opened it up, and then we installed a wine bar.
Yes.
And we gave him a six-seater dining setup. It disappears when it's not in use. So when you don't have an event, and we don't have guests over, it's a spacious unit. As you can see, it disappears. It goes to the side, so you only have your cabinets and huge space in front of you.
That looks amazing. That looks
They're
amazing.
also entertainers, so
Yeah.
they have a lot. Their clothes are it's extensive. So what they wanted was for me to give them storage for their clothes
Yes.
and costumes. So if you notice also what I did, because the space in the room is not enough, what I did was to
Yes.
make a wall treatment that will hide the wardrobe cabinet right in the living room. So nobody suspected that behind those walls are actually clothes.
Oh wow.
That part, the left part, those are mirrors, but actually behind those are the wardrobe cabinets.
Oh, it's a
so they can
wow. So a hidden
store their
closet.
stuff. So it's right in the middle of the living room. You have to be
That-
creative with the storage spaces.
Well, that's smart space, right?
Exactly.
Smart
Space
space.
Smart.
That's a good name for a
Space
company.
Smart, yes.
We make sure that every square meter count, because we've been dealing with condominiums for a long time. We've
Yeah.
been dealing with small spaces, so basically that's our biggest challenge: making every square meter count. That's where the name Space
Yeah.
Smart Interiors came to be, because of that.
Well, my wife and I were. I mean, we got something we could afford. I mean, who doesn't want a 2-bedroom or whatever, So I said, okay, well, the studio, and I was kind of stressed out because it seemed it's a studio, a small space, but I tell you when we'll see the picture later. When she got through with it, I felt like I was in a much bigger space. It was pretty incredible what you did. I'm very happy, very very happy. Can we bring up the it says Shiraz on it, there you
There
go.
it is.
So guys, that's my wife, our unit. That's our
The
unit.
challenge with this unit was, this small space,
Very
and the door,
Yes,
the
very
wardrobe
small.
cabinet. When you open it, it's gonna hit the bed.
Yes.
When you open the door, it's going to hit the bed.
Yes.
So what I did was to transform it into a sliding door wardrobe cabinet.
And see what she did. Absolutely incredible. I I'm still in disbelief you could fit a bed in there. But
Because she customized
Yes,
everything. So
everything.
utilizing that,
Yes.
instead of just putting a queen size bed, she really made it look
Yeah.
larger than that because she customized that space.
And I'll tell you one thing that really helped my wife and I visualize is, because of the cohesiveness that she has with, with the other side of their business, with the 3D, virtual presentations. That's what they did for us. They gave us a rendering that more than described, what kind of the end result was going to be, and I was already pleased with that.
Because didn't you mention also that you were even thinking before she started that you were going to do a Murphy bed because you were trying to save on space?
Yeah, you remember, Suzette? I had mentioned
Yes.
that to you, and you were just shaking your head like, no, 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 no. Let's not do that. Because I don't have I can't envision it. It was so small. It's just such a small space, and now it's not all of a sudden because of what you did. So
Because when you go on vacation, let's face it, you're not going to live in your room.
yeah,
No, you're not.
You feel comfortable, have a good night's sleep,
Yes.
take your shower, and you're out
Out
there
the door.
sightseeing and
Yeah.
visiting.
absolutely.
Correct.
And the majority of my clients are the customers. The typical. Yes, let's go. We're going to retire soon. Let's go. They go to the Philippines. They get all excited. All the people in the mall handing out the flyers with the new condos and everything, and then you go into the sales room and there's the model, and you get hooked. But
Well,
yeah.
when you think about it, the principle that we have here in Vegas,
Yeah.
all the home builders,
Yeah.
they have the design room.
Yes, that's
And
true.
that's
yes.
what brings the house alive. When you
Yes.
go in and you look at the textures and the carpet and the wood and the finishings, this is what makes it, oh, I can have that. You'll
Yes,
do this.
yes.
Now it comes alive for them.
Yeah.
If you just go into white walls, people
Yes.
don't have that vision. A lot of people
That's
don't create. You've got to give them ready-made.
Yeah.
But once you go into the design center, you
Yes.
see everything, and now you're
Yeah.
getting excited.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, Suzette, what would you say? And a lot of your potential clients are watching today because they have bought from your stable of the Mega Worlds and the Ayalas and all of these developments. What would you say to them as when they're looking for a condo? What should be in their mind as far as like how to obviously they get all excited and they realize, oh, we spent all this money but we can't enjoy it all of a sudden. That's the after the fact. So what would you recommend to the typical couple that's looking for this type of investment?
Actually, I think the first one is you have to decide what do you need the space for. Is it something that you want to stay in for a long time? Is it a retirement house? Is it an investment house, place or space? So you have to decide that for yourself, whether what is the objective of you buying that unit. For example, you're not really staying in the Philippines and you just want some investment. The first thing that you have to look for is the location, because if you're going to be buying it for investment, it is important that whether you'll be using it for rental or you'll be selling it again, the location is very, very important. Now, if you're buying a condo unit or any property for you to stay in, well, it depends on where you want to locate. Well, myself, I would want to be in some provincial country setting because that would be a very peaceful and relaxing place for me to stay. So it really depends. You have to be clear with your objectives first. Now, if it's something for investment only, that's number one, location, and number two, the developer. Check on the reliability of developers. Big developers are really good because they have track record. You know that they'll be delivering the unit to you. You'll be able to enjoy it. You have to make sure that it's that units are really turned over to clients, because some have really sad stories about it. They've invested a lot and were not able to get their units. So it's very important. So number one is location. Number two is the developer. And number three, you can check the unit itself. You can check, you can ask, because there are some developers which the way the units are done, the condominium units are done, not really in good condition. There are problems with, I'm not going to mention the name of the developer, but there are problems with the plumbing, with
Oh man.
the wiring. So that's going to be a huge problem for you. So I think those three things are very important considerations.
You know, one thing that really helped us, and I didn't think about this aspect of it, is truly we were not bothered with even the technical details, because the operations managers of most of these properties down to the engineering, Suzette already had, and we didn't know, a relationship with them. So if she needed to get in the building for whatever reason, or get in the unit, she didn't even need a key, because they trust.
That's most
oh,
important.
Oh, it's Suzette and her folks. So that for because the Philippines is I don't know even know how to describe it, because of, I guess, all the fraud, you know, that goes on. You know, you can't help but be everyone is
Sure,
suspicious
sure.
of each other, you know, and I noticed that about the being in the Philippines, but it helped us tremendously. That she already had those relationships. She wasn't calling us saying, "Oh, my cousin so and so has the key. He's going to meet you in front of the building." You know, that sort of scenario, which happens all the time. It happens all the time. I never went through any of those scenarios.
I think that's most
So thank you.
important.
So for
Because
that.
people, when they do the
Yeah.
investment, and if they're busy, they don't want to think that they've got to check the email,
Yes.
go on a conference call.
Right.
Is this snob good? Do you want this kind of wood? I mean, it becomes like as if they're there.
Yes.
And it's nice to have the confidence to just say
Yeah.
to someone, okay, just tell me when it's done.
Yes,
And send me
yes.
the pictures, and I'll be surprised. But,
Yes.
you know, again, you have someone who's capable,
Yeah.
who is creative, and she's not just spending money.
Yeah.
She's taking your money and investing it in
Yeah,
something,
de-
which I
definitely.
think she should also be able to flip it. People in the Philippines who want to invest in our high
Yeah.
rises here in Las Vegas, but also want a piece
Yes.
of the Philippines when they open the door. That's something that I think when she does
Yeah.
make a visit here, she needs to establish that, because I'm sure there are the Filipino families there also want to come here for vacation
Yes,
and
yes.
go back and use this as an investment.
Yes.
Where you expounded about the creation of what the building looked like and the surroundings looked like, and you brought it into the unit. Now she could take, with her knowledge, the same thing if someone is to take a high rise here and they want a little touch of the Philippines. She can do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know,
Comes a two-way.
Yeah, yeah. You know, Suzette, from an investment point of view, you know, for all the listeners out there, what are, as far as what you're saying is you know, the reliability of the company, right, that they buy from. Give me some top picks for you that you've dealt with them, and you know that, hey,
Well,
if your client buys a condo there, you're feeling good. You know that they're getting a good product.
Well, my top picks, well, top on the list would be Ayala. Ayala Land is really trustworthy. And then Federal Land.
Federal, okay.
And I would go for SMDC also. So those are the three top
Okay.
picks. The
And
top
that's,
three,
the
top three
Shoe Mart?
developers that,
The SMDC is the Shoe Mart. Okay, okay. And what places? Because she goes all over the Philippines. So what say top 3 or top 4 places would you recommend that you say, you know, you have had
buy
projects
units
in?
from?
Yes, you've had projects, and I know you do a lot of Pampanga. You've done Cebu, you know, Boracay. You know, you've done those places. So what would you recommend as far as your top picks?
BGC is one of the, I think right now is the best place to buy a property from because of the value. With regards to tourism, would be Cebu or Tagaytay.
Uh-huh.
And I think just for basically a place for you where you can have everything, that's Metro Manila basically.
Yeah.
But I think within Metro Manila, that would be BGC, BGC, Makati, and Tagaytay.
Yeah, it's amazing in the last 10 years how much, the Philippines has changed. Metro Manila has changed a lot, as far as just the landscape. You don't even recognize it anymore.
It's very modern,
Yeah.
extremely
yes, it is.
modern.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's, Lonnie, one of the things that that I saw the other day, and it's important for our viewers to know, a lot of the Filipino realtors that do projects in the Philippines as well, that are connected to all these companies that Suzette deals with, because of that small opening that we had for people could now fly back and forth from the Philippines, when things kind of eased up, all of those developers are now back in Las Vegas selling condos again.
Sure.
And heavily advertising. It's I guess there's no stopping the real estate market over there. It's kind of like Las Vegas, right?
Several of our Las Vegas realtors are there
Yeah.
that I know. So they started the project way before it became something popular. Like I said, Salve was out there in 2004, and she was promoting Twin Lakes at that time. I know Rick Icting is out there. He has a whole big project out there.
Wow.
So I know, and he was with Fil-Am. He was the first Filipino realtor in Fil-Am.
Oh wow.
So now he's in the Philippines. Yeah.
Wow.
So we started that. Good old Las Vegas realtors. We started that. So that's a good thing. We know when something is on the rise, and even the other countries such as Japan. Japan has been going to the Philippines for decades.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Because they found that it was cheaper to go golfing there than it was to go golfing in Japan.
Yep.
So it's going to be the playground. It's going to be the new Asian playground, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And renovations are still going on left and right in the Philippines, even now.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness, are they repurposing a lot of the older buildings and everything?
There's still a lot of renovations going on, and a lot of buildings, constructions that are happening.
Well, I never knew that Manila could have a white sand beach. That's incredible.
You heard about that?
I said, wow, okay.
I'm not sure if it's still
They
white
imported
until
the sand? Did they import the sand?
It must have been imported.
Yeah, I know you've done a couple of condos overlooking Rojas Boulevard in the Manila Bay.
Yes, I did.
Over there,
Yes,
much
yes.
older buildings.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a 123 square meter unit. It's a 3-bedroom, which I did for a client, for a Chinese client actually.
Wow.
It was also a rental unit.
Oh my goodness.
So they're renovating rental units because it's more attractive to transients and to tenants.
Oh my goodness. We before we wrap up, really, I mean, I'm so happy to see you. First of all,
Thank you.
wish we could see each other
Nice
in
to see
person.
you too.
Absolutely. Could you just please touch on? I saw that list briefly. Touch on a couple of the past projects that you've done, and everything there. The past projects. That's impressive. The list that you have there. My goodness.
Most of my clients actually are repeat clients. I have clients from the condominium units I've mentioned. Some of them I've done 2 to 3 units in one condominium alone. Most of them are from the same client. So I've been doing. I've done projects from Manila to Tagaytay to a lot more places, Makati and Rizal. So the one there, the first, as Estelle said, most of my projects actually are rental units. They're having it renovated for not for themselves but for clients, for rental clients.
Wow. So it's really a big rental market there too, not just Airbnb, but big rental market.
Yes.
Yeah.
For embassies and for expatriates.
It sounds like Las Vegas to me. Our market here is just so hot right now, Lonnie.
It's saturated. We are saturated.
And there too. In the
Yes,
Philippines
that's right.
too.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once again, can we go ahead and get your information so that our viewers can, if they want to go and contact you, especially the ones that are going to be purchasing condos, like Richard was saying earlier, a lot of the salespeople from all the different companies are coming out here. And a good friend of mine actually is also from the Philippines. He's been here for about a week already, and he's marketing his properties too that he's selling over there in the Philippines. Yeah. So go ahead and give your information, Ms. Suzette. Carlos?
If you have questions or inquiries about renovations, you may call us. You may send us an email at wecare@spacesmartinteriors.com. We also have a website. We actually have a shop. You can check us out at www.spacesmartinteriors.com, and you may give us a call at 0917-858-1912. I'd be happy to help you. I'd be happy to answer all your questions about renovations and about investing in the Philippines, especially condominium units, because basically that's we've been specializing in condominium units for a long time. So I can answer your questions about that. Give me a call or send me a text or email us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Would you like to go ahead and shout out to any of any of our viewers, or I know that you invited some of your friends.
I'd like to say hi to one of my clients who's also a kababayan. Hi, Tito June. He owns a vintage dance band, and I think they are performing at Bistro 880. They're in San Francisco East Bay. Awesome. And he's watching right now.
All right. Is that
Awesome.
it?
That's my titas in the States.
All right. Would you like to go ahead and
Well, you know what?
wrap it up?
I'm so happy, and really.
Well, Richard, if someone wants
yes.
to make a reservation, who do they contact to make a reservation for your condo?
Oh, you know what?
Airbnb, right?
You know what? Yes, it is actually.
It's posted with Airbnb.
Yes. It's actually thanks to Suzette. I had to take it off of Airbnb because a wonderful thing happened. We got a long-term lease.
Awesome.
Look at that.
Ooh.
That is
That's
nice.
Because
good.
of her work. So I didn't have to do any convincing. They just saw the pictures, and then they saw. Here's the thing: they saw the side by side. They saw the other units and what they look like inside, and then they saw my unit and
Your
what
unit's sold.
and then it was done. So thank you.
Care of Suzette.
Care of Suzette.
There's no better promotion than that.
No better promotion than that. So.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good investment.
Thank you so much.
Well, Suzette, thank you so much for taking time. I know it's a different time zone, but you're taking time to be with us tonight. And again, thank you for being one of our advertisers. Our book, our Las Vegas Resource Guide, does go out to thousands of people here in Vegas. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've picked up our resource guide, go through the pages and you will see her advertisement. Contact her and make your plan to get your condo designed by Suzette. You cannot lose at all. It's your investment.
All right.
Thank you so much. It's also an honor. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be able to connect with our kababayan in Las Vegas. I hope I'll be able to help you someday.
Absolutely.
Just send me a note.
Thank you so much, Ms. Suzette. All right, so Las
Thank
Vegas.
you.
All right, so the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide, the book is available. The volume 3 is out. You can pick it up over here at the station, PHLV Radio, or you can go to the participating seafood cities here in Las Vegas. Go to the Senior Information Guidance Advocacy booth and ask for the volume 3 Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide. All right, once again, this is the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide radio show on PHLV Radio. Of course, good evening and good morning to the Philippines. Thank you so much.
Good morning.
All right, and we'll be back
Good morning.
next week, Thursday, 6 p.m. dito sa PHLV Radio. Take care for now. Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good
Good night and good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide is a vital tool and a helpful media outlet for business enterprises to connect and to reach out to Filipino American consumers. For more information, go to www.lasvegasfrg.com or you can email at lasvegasfrg@gmail.com.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.